Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Look at beautiful Gorda Hork. It's like Switzerland. And we should be more like Switzerland. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. So I moved to Donegal basically to get away from globalization. We were told in the 1990s and the 2000s that globalization would save us. And we've now realized that it hasn't. It's merely centralized the takings of the world into a few corporations and a few individuals of the 1%, while the rest of us watch our quality of life diminishing all the time. And you know, you can argue against it or you can argue for it. But the problem is it recognizes no border. It is beyond borders. So maybe let's stand up for borders a little bit. The first time I heard about the border was a story my father told me. My father was, when he was 18, was an accordion player in the Eugene Leddy Cayley band in Cavan, another border county. And at one time, a friend came up to him and said, "Tommy Cullivan, you're the best accordion player in the 36 counties of Ireland." To which my father replied, "But there's only 32. And not wanting to be wrong, of course, his friend said, "Should there's 4 in Scotland, they belong us." A blong, a classic Irish word. But there was 4 counties in Scotland that belonged us. There was, back in the 7th century and the 6th century, the Dalriada Kingdom encompassed parts of Scotland, parts of Wales and Cornwall. And in fact, if you were to have a united Celtic Europe, you would have 6 different countries united together: Brittany, Scotland, Wales, Cornwall and Galicia. And we would actually have a Celtic realm, something I would support hugely. But we're not part of that. We're part of a much larger thing called the EU, which, let's admit, it started off well in 1950 as a kind of a trade agreement, and supposedly it was meant to end all wars in Europe. Well, look what's happening at the moment. Look at clever Switzerland, and look at clever Norway and clever Iceland, nowhere near this kind of activity. And of course, Europe has always been in this very strange situation. This strange serio-comic map from 150 years ago represents each European country as a person, you know, as a noble person or something that denotes their kind of national character. But look at Russia. Russia, poor Russia, is an octopus. Russia is always portrayed as an octopus. And this continued when Stalin was there. Communism, an octopus. Once again, poor Russia treated as an octopus. I'm not saying poor Russia, but you know what I mean. Why do you get made the octopus the whole time? And of course, Ireland and England were presented as these kind of noble little people that were going to fight against all of this. But what about the biggest octopus of all? The British Empire, covering huge swathes of the globe. But it's never represented as an octopus. And in fact, when the octopus tentacles started to fall off, what did they do? They left us with these amazing borders, things called partition. The partition of India. It's been trouble ever since it was done by the British back then. The partition of Palestine. We are still dealing with that issue. But the first one, the biggest one, the partition of Ireland. The partition of Ireland. The creation of a border. We have to get beyond this border. And of course, the strangest thing of all was that Lloyd George was proposing 9 counties. 9 counties. In fact, postcards were printed. The Kingdom of Great Britain and Ulster. The 9 counties. But someone decided against the 9 counties. It wasn't a battle. It was actually James Craig and the Unionists. Because if you had 9 counties in Ulster, the proportion of Catholics would be 45%, and of Protestants would be 55%, and the Unionists deemed that far too close. So they got rid of 3 counties, Donegal, Monaghan, and Cavan, leaving 90,000 Protestants in the south. They didn't really care about their future. And of course, that left 33% Catholic and 66% Protestant. And of course, Punch magazine, even at the time, had this idea that you would dig a big channel through the Bann, a massive channel, and then fill in the gap between Ulster and Scotland and make a separate large promontory. And that would actually be the north. It would have worked, actually. But what happened? What happened when partition came along? Well, we lost things that we had had for a long time. We had a train network of 6,000 kilometers, an amazing train network that was so extensive, one of the most extensive in the world. Donegal itself, 250 miles of railway in Donegal alone, going through the most impossible landscape. The fact it's not there is an insult to the people who actually built it. Look at Northern Donegal, and of course, it ran through Gorta Hork from Letterkenny, and of course, there's my train station in what would have been probably the most beautiful train journey in the world around Mount Errigal. But this is what we have now. This is the train network now, the partitionist train network, because of splitting the country in 2. As you can see, you know, it only kind of goes somewhere, and the Northwest has nothing at all. It's part of the government's, successful government's NWC GFI initiative, the Northwest Can Go Feck Itself initiative. Look at the motorway network. We still don't have a map that you can actually buy that shows you the entire motorway network of the island because it's embarrassing. In the south, it goes east and west and south, and then up the north, it just goes from east to west a little bit of the way, and there we get past the ban with our motorways. No way, no, not going to happen. And again, the northwest can go feck itself. See? Pointless. But the thing is that we will have a united Ireland in the next 10 to 20 years. Despite what anybody says. In 2015, there was a convoluted poll taken up the north, a convoluted poll taken down the south. I've crunched the numbers for you. Here's what it is. Yes for United Ireland, 48%. No, 28.5%. Don't know, 23.5%, or as I like to call them, morons. You've had 800 years to make up your mind. Honestly, just put your hand over your eyes and just put a pen mark wherever you want. Honestly, don't take so much time. And of course, when we do have a united Ireland, which we will, what are we going to learn? What are we going to trade? What are we going to give each other? Well, the thing that the North can give us is actually putting signs on roads to let you know what road you're on. Unlike in this country where it's called L1025X or nothing. Or even where you have two different speed signs in a boreen in which you could neither do 60 or 80 kilometers an hour, ladies and gentlemen. We can give them same-sex marriage. They can give us drive-through off licenses. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. In Enniskillen, there's a drive-through off license. Yes, drinking and driving, together at last. Some of our politicians will absolutely love that. Here's me jamming with a few of them. And of course, the argument over northern and southern Tato will finally have to be settled. This is going to be one of the most sensitive ones. I think we can all agree that southern Tato is superior in flavour and design. But let's admit it, the northern Tato headquarters of Tandragee Castle is creepy and much more interesting than boring Tato Park. Some people are going to have to come out. Honestly, they're going to have to come out. No. Jeffrey Donaldson will have to admit that by day he might be mild-mannered Ulster Unionist politician Jeffrey Donaldson. By night, he is Daniel O'Donnell. Honestly, have you ever seen them in the same room? They even part their hair the same way, for God's sake. They are the same people. We can bring back All-Ireland logos, amazing All-Ireland logos, like this amazing All-Ireland Motoring School logo. You know, it's hilarious, the anthropomorphic nature of it. You know, the arms and the things are Mayo and Galway. The legs are Kerry and Cork. I don't know what Clare is, but personally, I would have filled in the Shannon, to be honest, just not to cause anything. We can bring back Irish products, our own products. Cavan Cola, back in the 70s and 80s, plucky little Cavan took on the might of the Coca-Cola Corporation and lost. But it was ours, and we can bring it back. We can finally, in the South, get rid of these keeping up with the Joneses' stupid number plates that we brought in for some reason, where we get to let our neighbours know we've just bought a new car, and it's not aspirational, it's pathetic. Let's bring in those ugly yellow northern number plates that don't let people know when you bought your car. And of course, the one thing that does unite us, and we can bring back in our new United Ireland, is circular architecture. These bungalows and square buildings we brought in are a foreign import. No, circular building is what we are best at. I know it's not good in terms of space, but at the same time, and believe it or not, it's one thing we have in common with our unionist brethren. Okay, you may not like the politics, but I have to say you must admire the engineering. That is an amazing skill, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, everywhere around Ireland, we are going to have trilingual signs, Irish, English, and Ulster Scots. Stop laughing. And of course, we'll have to change all our symbols. We'll have to change everything. We'll have to change the flag even to something as ugly as this. I don't know. Whatever keeps everybody happy, that's the main thing about a united Ireland, okay? Although I must say, green, white, and orange never works really in any context. So that's the case. So we're going to have a united Ireland. But what will it be part of? It will be part of a united Europe. And that's a problem. It's a problem for me. Look at Germany in 1850. Germany in 1850 was a bunch of millions of different kingdoms, millions of different places. Okay, Prussia got involved in wars, but they were generally small and short and had professional armies, and that was it. What happened when Germany united and got itself together? World War I, World War II. Okay, no insult to the Germans, but honestly, when 1990 happened, I did shudder a little bit when they reunified. And of course, we now have a united Europe that once again is not talking about trade anymore, but talking about laws and even a EU army. And even if you look at the EU army statistics, many large countries now favour an EU army. And of course, who is the big enemy again? Oh, look, it's an octopus. It's Putin as an octopus. We are now still using 150 years, the same propaganda we used 150 years ago against Russia, gearing up for a large war based on the fact that we are in an alliance. An alliance that actually made us deport a Russian diplomat on the word of Boris Johnson. The word of Boris Johnson allowed us to get involved in being mean to Russia. I think it's crazy. I think it's madness. And I think even if we do get a united Ireland, we have to do something radical. We have to secede Donegal from the rest of the Republic. We cannot get Donegal people. There's only 160,000 in Donegal. We cannot get them involved in some foreign Russian war. It can't happen. And the national anthem, of course, will be Las Vegas in the hills of Donegal by Goats Don't Shave. Because the genius Pat Gallagher, the man who predicted Donald Trump and a wall, building a wall, those are actually in the lyrics of the song, The Hills of Donegal. And we should build a wall around Donegal. It will become an amazing place. You can have casinos, chicken ranches, anything you want, different laws, different entertainment. And look, we're good at building walls. We're amazing at it. We've been doing it here for 5,000 years. Let's build a wall. People will visit it like the Great Wall. You can see it from space, the Great Wall of Donegal. And of course, it is the fort of the foreigners. We can actually bring in people to build it as well. And maybe get some decent cuisine beyond fajitas. Also, when it comes to fishing rights, this is all the amount of different countries that are allowed to fish around the coast. Once again, Donegal can reclaim the Porcupine Shelf, this massive area the size of Germany that used to be owned and can be fished constantly. The 10 or 12 sites of interest off the coast of Donegal for gas and oil. Our Dáil just recently voted that we would never drill for gas or oil ever again. Not in the Republic of Donegal. No, we're drilling for it all, and we're getting all the rights and all the money from it as well. And that'll pay for everything. We'll have to take Rockall and put a massive radar station on Rockall and a massive gun in case we see Spanish trawlers coming along trying to take our fish. It's our fish. Donegal catch, not Spanish catch. And of course, let's remember how American we are. We're not European in Donegal. We like country music. We like driving cars. We love cars and then driving them at insane speeds down crazy roads. That's what we do. We're American. We're not really European at all. And what we need to do is to encourage all those companies like Google and Facebook and all of those guys and actually say, look, you're paying 12.5, well, you're not paying anything really, but you can pay nothing in Donegal for 10 years, except you have to build the infrastructure. You have to build the roads. You have to build the houses. You have to do everything with your profits. And within 10 years, this place will be like Switzerland. It will be amazing. The banks can move here. People could come here. It will be a haven, a tax haven, but the people of Donegal benefit. It will be as rich as Trinidad and Tobago, of which it's the same size. It'll have the same population as Guam. I'm telling you, Donegal can be massive. The architecture then, we can take the amazing work of Liam McCormick and use that everywhere. Use the landscape to inspire wonderful buildings. There's only 7 churches, but we can change the ugly bungalows of Donegal into amazing, wonderful creations like this, especially Burt Church, taken after the Green of Aliac. Imagine your house looked like that. It would be amazing. It just would. Don't argue with me about this. Last but not least, that train station, by the way, I drove past it today. I just took this photo. I can't believe it. Somebody has done it up. It's going to be part of a greenway. Now, greenways are great, ladies and gentlemen. But who thought that the next development after trains would be walking? So let's please get all the companies in, declare the Republic of Donegal a place that had a coat of arms 7 centuries before the Brits even thought of it. And let's make this place, this special place, take care of itself. And let all those people beyond the border, have their little war on the steppes of Russia. It's been tried many times. It's never won. Because remember, Russia don't start wars, but they sure know how to end them. Let's make sure Donegal isn't part of it. And say with me, up the Republic of Donegal!